Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about getting very clear about your intentions. So let's back up just a minute. I know many of you have listened to me for a long time, or you listen to other people like me, other podcasts, and you know what intentions are. But let's assume for a minute that you don't know what an intention is. I want to talk about what an intention is, and then how to make sure you're being very clear about your intentions, the things that you're wishing to see happen in your life. So an intention is what you want to see, whether that is with a relationship, with a job, a career, financially where you want to be. It's all of those things. It can be in any area of your life. But an intention is when you sit down and you actually say, this is what I want to see happen in my life. And what happens to many of us all too often is our intentions aren't clear enough. So we say things like, I want a loving relationship, or I want a new job. And we're not very specific about what it is we want. And I'm not talking about the how, because you don't have to know how it's going to happen. That's not what the intention is. The intention says, this is what I want to happen. And you don't have to know how it's going to happen. That is the thing that I want to stress to you so much. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to know how it's going to show up in your life. You just have to have faith that it is. When we try to put all of these limiting beliefs and constraints on how it can show up, then we're putting limits on the universe. And the universe is infinite and has infinite power. So when we say it has to show up in this way at this time, we are it's like putting handcuffs on the hands of the universe. You know, we're tying the universe down. We're holding back its power. We're saying, you can only do it this way. And honestly, I don't know about you, but there have been so many times in my life when things have shown up in such a unique and creative way, I never would have thought of it. And if I were to say something had to show up a certain way, I would have missed out on a blessing, because I'm telling the universe, look, I'm only going to accept this blessing if you bring it in this way. But that's what we do sometimes when we set our intentions. We focus more on how we're going to get it done than we do on what we want. And sometimes our intention just is all over the place because we're trying to figure out how it's going to happen. We're saying, okay, well, I want to be rich, but I have to win the lottery and I have to play from this gas station, and it's got to be, it's usually not quite that specific, but you get the idea. Like, we're saying I can only become rich if I win the lottery. And the universe is like, well, what if you become rich because you create something awesome that everybody wants, and then they start throwing their money at you? That could be a way to be rich. And it would feel a whole lot better, honestly, than just winning the lottery, because you'd be like, oh, look what I did. But we do that whole thing where we say, okay, this is what I want. I'm going to make my vision board. And I'm not making fun of making a vision board. I have vision boards. But I also have vision boards. Like, my original vision board started off with like a gazillion things on them. And if the universe were to look at my vision board, it'd be like, oh, you don't have a very clear vision. You've got things going on all over the place. So my visions, even though I have very grand ideas, may not have been very clear at first. And I've noticed that when I start really honing in on what it is I want, and I get very specific and very clear about it, that's when things start showing up for me. Like, if I just throw any old thing out there, let me give you an example. When I started my business, I said, okay, I hope someone will listen to my podcast. That's all I would say, right? Someone. Not a very specific intention, just, oh, I hope people listen to it. I hope it helps somebody, and I hope they like it. So instead of doing that, and for the longest time, I had the same amount of listeners, which was fine. But, the goal was to grow my listenership. But I wasn't putting that intention out there clearly. I was just like, oh, whoever wants to listen to it, that'd be awesome. Which the universe can say, yeah, okay, that's great. One person listened to it. I answered your prayer. Your intention's there. I did it. Because I wasn't being very specific. When I started changing what I intended for my life, the results started changing. When I said, thank you for the 50 new subscribers that I'm getting. Thank you for that. That's a specific thing. And I don't have to say how or when it's going to happen. I just put that intention out there. Thank you for and always with gratitude too. That's another important key thing, is I feel what it would feel like if I already had that. How grateful would I feel? And you want to be in that feeling. And so it's thank you for the 50 new subscribers that I'm getting for my podcasts. Thank you for that. And when I started doing it that way, instead of just, oh, thank you for anyone who will listen. That's okay. It's not like it's a terrible thing to say, but it's not very specific. And one new person answers that, which doesn't show a lot of growth, which is what I was going for. I wanted growth in my listenership. So when I started changing that, then the results that I started to see changed as well. I would get people who would mention my podcast in their stories on Facebook or Instagram and send me messages thanking me and telling me they've shared the podcast with their friends. And you don't know how much that means to me, and I so appreciate that. But that's the thing that's so great about the universe and what is so surprising, because if I were to worry about how it could happen and how is this going to show up in my life, is it that I take out an ad and I've got to do this and I've got to do that? If I were to worry about that, I'd spend more time stressing and probably not getting any of the results, because then I'm putting limits on the universe. If I say, okay, universe, I'm going to take out an ad and this many people are going to, if I did that, I'm limiting how this can show up for me. But saying what I said, I'm thankful and grateful for the 50 new subscribers, whatever, I'm just giving you a number, then I don't have to say, how is that going to show up for me? And it's kind of cool the way it showed up for me, because it wasn't me taking out an ad or me putting in more effort. It was my other listeners sharing it, putting it on their stories for social media. Those are creative ways to actually share the podcast that I would have never thought about. I really didn't even think about that. And it was the listeners who themselves were like, oh, I shared this and I hope you don't mind. It's like, oh my gosh, no, that's amazing. That's incredible. Thank you. And guess what? That was the universe stepping in and going, we've got you. You don't have to worry about how it's going to show up. We're here. We're going to do it. We're just asking you to have faith. Just even the teeniest, tiniest bit of faith. There was one Bible verse that, my mom always talked about. And there's a lot of parts of the Bible that, I don't necessarily agree with, or I think it's been interpreted in different ways for different purposes. And I'm not going to get into all of that because everyone has their own opinion and it's fine. But this is one of the verses that I honestly, really, truly always felt in my soul to be true, which is that all it takes is faith the size of a mustard seed. And if you've seen a mustard seed, they're very, very teeny tiny small. It's just that little faith that is required of us for us to see our manifestations come through. And it's so true. It's when we start doubting and letting fear in and saying, well, I don't know how it's going to work out. And we start overthinking and we let the fear totally take over. That's when our lives get so off track. Because what we're forgetting is if we've put our manifestations out there and we believe that the universe has our back and is working behind the scenes on our behalf to bring us what's for our highest good, we should never lose faith. Here's the thing. I have had situations where I've gone for jobs and I really wanted the job and I thought I had the job and I went and did the job interview and it went well and they were impressed and I could tell they were impressed, but I still didn't get the job. And I will always believe that when that happens, it's because the universe says, no, there's something better. But what happens when we experience things like that, when we go for a job and it doesn't work out, we get discouraged and we throw our hands up in the air and we just say, okay, I quit. I don't understand. Why did this happen to me? What's going on? I deserve this. Maybe I'll never find that dream job. It's never going to happen. I'm never going to have a business that takes off. I'm never going to find that dream relationship just because one little thing didn't work out. And what the universe is telling you is, have faith. Trust us. This was us. This was our hand in this, keeping you from this job because it wasn't for your highest good. You deserve something better. And sometimes it's not even, and I was talking to someone about this the other day, but it's not even no forever. Sometimes it's not right now. Because sometimes there are things that have to be worked out in your favor before everything lines up perfectly. A lot of times it's about timing. It's a no right now because we have to line up these things that are going to help you out and it's going to make it easier for you or better for you or something. And I truly believe that. I believe that we are being, it's like we're being prepped, for what is coming. It's like the universe says, you know what? Yes, I'm going to give you these things, but you've got to get yourself ready first. You've got some work to do first. And that is what I truly believe happens. But it's also that, do you trust me? Do you have faith? Because all it takes is the teeniest, tiniest bit of faith. Faith the size of a grain of mustard seed. That's how much faith you have to have in the fact that the universe is working for you. And when you do, you really start to see things happening. So I would challenge you, if you're not seeing the things that you're wishing to see manifest in your life, how are you manifesting? Like, what are you saying to the universe? Are you saying, just bring me my soulmate? Or are you saying, bring me someone who has these characteristics? Are you saying, bring me my dream job? Or are you saying, bring me a dream job that allows me to be financially free, that I will have a passion for and love, and where I will have coworkers who become like family? I mean, we have to think about all of these things. Because the universe can bring you a job. But is it going to be a job that makes you more money? Is it going to be a job you love? Are you going to love working with the people who are there? Because those are really, really important things to consider. You can be brought a job, and if you don't like the people you work with, it can be miserable. It can feel like torture to have to work with people you don't like or who have difficult personalities. So what are you asking for? Are you being specific enough? And when it comes to talking about a partner or a soulmate, when I say be specific, I don't mean looks. Because I don't think you want to limit the universe to a blonde-haired person or a dark-haired person. But it is important that they have the same values as you, that they like some of the same things that you like. So those are the kinds of things that I would be specific about. But I would not be specific about looks. And yes, we know looks are important because it is what draws you to someone else. But you can simply say someone that I would be physically attracted to and leave it at that. Because for me, I don't really care what color hair a person has. Like, that's not necessarily something that I look for. So I'm not going to limit myself to only finding men with blonde hair or only blue eyes. Like, that's not an issue for me. The more important things are, what kind of soul does this person have? What kind of values does this person have? Do they like the same things? Do they have a good sense of humor? Are they a forgiving person? Those are the things I look for, not necessarily the physical. And same thing in a job. Like, one of the things that I really wanted in a new job was something closer to home. So I had to say that specifically. I want something that's closer to home. And I just said even 20 minutes away is fine. And I got 5 minutes away, which is pretty darn good. So are you being specific enough? Are you telling the universe what it is you want? Do you even know what you want? Sometimes I feel like that is the biggest problem of all, is we don't even know what we want. We know what we've been told we should want our whole lives. People will always try to tell you what you should want for yourself. But that's not what you really want. That's what societal norms say you should want. What do you want? What do you need? What's going to make you happy? What's going to make you live your best life? That's what you need to focus on. And I've worked with people before in coaching who came to me and said, I don't even know what would make me happy. I don't know what I want. So that's what we worked on. We just worked on what would make your life fulfilled, what makes you happy, and then worked on kind of like a backwards design. We went through what would make them happy and then started thinking about careers and different things that would fit into that mold. Because for some people that's difficult. They don't even really know who they are, because for so long, if you've been a people pleaser, you just do things to make others happy. And chances are you picked the school you did or the career you did because someone else told you you should. And I'm not criticizing you, because I did that too at first. I wanted to become a business person, and I wanted to do international travel, and my whole family is like, you don't want to leave home, you don't want to go travel abroad, you want to do all these things. And it kind of scared me, so I backed out of it. And same thing, I also wanted to study psychology, and they were like, oh, you'll never find a job. And then we know my personality would be perfect for something with psychology, because I love working with people, and I'm good at being a sounding board for people and helping them with their own problems. So it actually would have been perfect, but I was talked out of it because there would not be a job. So what is it that you really want for your life? You know, what do you want to see? What do you want to see as far as your career? What do you want to see as far as your home? What do you want to see in your relationships? Get very specific about that. And then once you have your list, when you have it, spend a few moments every day looking at each thing on your list, and with gratitude and a feeling of excitement of, this is already mine, and I'm claiming it because I know it's already mine, because I have faith that the universe is working on it. Even if I don't see anything happening, they're working on it. So have faith and sit and just be thankful and feel the feeling of, it's already mine. It's already mine, because it is. When you put that intention out there, it goes in your vortex. The vortex is our connection to source, and all the things that we want to see in our lives are there. But we've got to get in alignment with the energy of those things that we want. And they're very, very high vibrating energetically, those things are. And we typically aren't. Our energies are sometimes very low. So we have to get our energies up. And some great ways to do that is by taking care of yourself. You know, you can get Reiki, you can go for a walk in nature, you can ground yourself, you can take a salt bath, you can listen to uplifting music or even those angelic tones, you can do a meditation. There are a lot of things you can do to help you raise your vibration. But I honestly think that the most important thing for you to do is to take another look at your manifestations. And if you don't have them written down, write them down. There's something about writing them down. Write them down, keep them in a journal, and then go and visit them every day. And the funny thing is that you can go later and look back at them and say, oh, this already came true, this happened. And it's kind of fun to see like what manifestations already happened for you. It's a lot of fun to look back and be like, look how far I've come. Look at all these things that happened for me and the things that came true. So go and write them down if you haven't, or if you've already written them down, go look at them again and say, are these aligned with what I really, really want in my life? Because if they're not, you need to rewrite them. Rewrite them. You know, just start over. Write them on another page and then tear out the ones, you know, the old ones that aren't serving you, that aren't really specific enough, that really aren't what you truly want to see, like they're not detailed enough. Just rip those up and start over. You know, it's never too late to start a manifestation. You know, it doesn't matter. It's all about your desires and your intentions that you put out there and what you want to work with the universe on, because you're working together with the universe. Whether you realize that or not, you're working together. And it is never, ever too late to sit down and think of what you want to see in your life. And I don't care how old you are. I mean, if people come to me all the time and say, well, I'm too old to go back to school, or I'm too old to start a new career, and that's bull. You're never too old. It's never too late. You can change your mind at any time. You can start over at any time. All it takes is a little faith and the courage to take that first step, because you will never know what could happen and how much you could love your life if you don't take a risk. If you don't take a risk, you will never know, and you'll regret not having done it. All right, guys, so I wanted to pull a card for you before I ended this podcast. And the card that I pulled is from the Archangel Oracle deck by Dorian Virtue. It's Career Transition by Archangel Chamuel. Your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. So many of you, when you start discovering what your life purpose is, we realize like we aren't even in the right career path. You know, we're not supposed to be doing this, we're supposed to be doing that. And it's never too late to discover that. I was 41 years old when I decided that I was supposed to be a healer as well as a teacher. And so it wasn't too late for me. I just took classes and this is what I started to do. And it's been a perfect fit. And if you are one of those people who feels led, or you feel like you've been called to be a healer, now is the perfect time, because I am getting ready to offer this online course. It's the Level 1 Yusui Reiki course. I will be teaching you the symbols, showing you how to do it, attuning you, and certifying you in Reiki. And it's all online, so it's not like you have to physically meet anywhere. And it's kind of a hybrid course. It is a mixture of working on it yourself and then meeting together online and going over all of the materials and answering questions and then doing practice Reiki sessions. So I've had people who are interested. I am going to try to get a group together. So I've already had a few people who have expressed interest to me, and I set up on my website a page for the course where you can read more about it. And there's a purple button that says I'm interested in the course. When you click on it, it should take you to a Google form. Please let me know if it doesn't work, but it should work because I have names there already. But if you click on it, you will fill out the form. When I get a group together, when I get enough people to have a group, we're going to start the course. It's $200. And that's a good deal because that's about what you would pay in a normal Reiki class around here. But it's much more than just Reiki. I'm going to teach you how to call in your entire spiritual team to help you do the healing. And I'm going to show you how to take your client on a journey with guided meditation. So it's so much more than a normal Reiki session, which will be what sets you apart if you're hoping to do this for a business. If you're just doing this to heal yourself and others, that's great too. It's always great to know Reiki. So it's $200, and you can set up a payment plan, and it will be 2 weeks. You will have access to all of the online materials where you can dive in and start studying yourself. And then we will meet twice a week. So we'll meet at least 4 times, maybe once more. And we will discuss what is Reiki, how do we perform it, how do we do all of these things. I will support you, and then you will have a group where you can practice the Reiki sessions. And I will also give you access to all of the people who are in my Facebook page, where you can also get free practices in, which you will need to have. So you will be supported the whole way through. I think it's a great opportunity. So if you feel like you've been led and this is what you need to do, go to my website and fill out that form. It'll just take you 2 seconds to go there and fill it out. It's only 2 questions. And then if you'd like more information, you can always email me at melissaoatman77@gmail.com. And if you want anything from me, if you would like to book a Reiki session, a past life regression, or a coaching session, you can email me, you can text me, you can call me, you can message me on Facebook and Instagram. There's so many ways to get a hold of me. You can book online, but you can also just email me. That's what most people do. I want to thank you for joining me. Don't forget to join my Facebook Lives every Monday at 5:30 Central. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.